from Joyzy. To the line. Hey Spurs fans, welcome back to our channel. I'm Anya.
And I'm Milan.
And today we are going to be reviewing the Liverpool game and previewing the Brighton game. So, unfortunately, if you didn't already know, Spurs suffered a very bad loss to Liverpool. The final score was 3-1, and let's just say...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty bad. There are not a lot of words to talk about it, although I think there's probably a lot of words we can say. I don't really want to rehash such a bad game and a bad aftermath of the game, but I guess we have to go through it a little bit.
So first, let's just talk about what were your initial thoughts when the lineup came out?
So initially, I actually was a little bit excited by the fact that we were going to consider playing a little bit more offensive with the three in the back. But I thought about it a little bit more, and I was like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Why change it now?
Why are we changing a system that has, for the most part, worked well against the top teams?
Yeah.
Based on the fact that we did well
against
playing
Sheffield.
that system against Sheffield United.
Stop it!
So
Stop
it
it!
wound up being a
Stop
system
it!
that I was, concerned about. Can we hold Liverpool and hold their midfield with playing three in the back with these wing backs? And it really, I was concerned about the lineup.
However, overall, I think both teams, started strong. I think we started maybe a little bit on the front foot. Mane had an early chance, but then Son had a goal that was just offsides.
Drawing the lines,
which I think really screwed up the whole game for us. Obviously, I can't predict the result if that goal had stood, but I think it would have been
right, because
a much
we
closer
always
game.
we always win games where we're winning 1-0.
Well, no, but we maybe
I'm kidding.
could have gotten a point
It does,
from
of course. It changes the dynamic of the game, and I would agree. I feel like the first 20-25 minutes, I was actually, the game was pretty wide open, which was scary to me. But we were just as dangerous as they were. They had some shots, they had some chances, we had some chances.
And then it all went down.
I'd say the last 15 minutes of the first half, they seemed like they were really dominating possession, right? And then obviously Kane had these two injuries, but it seemed like they were both small, and he was able to get back. But he wasn't really the last 10 minutes of the half. It seemed like he was not really the same player.
Yeah.
And then obviously giving up a goal right before. What'd you think of the goal?
All of their goals were so preventable. So preventable. Aurier, I understand. I like Aurier. I think he's good attackingly. But he can't get beat with those balls. That's just not acceptable.
Yeah, I think it was the same, Mourinho said after the game, it was the same ball that he got beat with early, in the first 10 seconds of the game, where Mane should have scored. He got beat again with the same ball, and then whatever happened between Dyer and Hugo Lloris, the ball just kind of, neither went for it. It went right in between them, and it was a goal. And it's terrible to give up a goal right like that right before halftime. It sounds like halftime was a real crazy show.
So, first, right after halftime, we found out that Eric Lamela was going to be taking the place of Harry Kane, who injured both of his ankles, who's now out for a few weeks. Also, Aurier stormed out of the stadium.
Well, we didn't know that at that point.
Not at that point, but we know that now. And he's literally our only good wing-back left. Because Doherty,
wing back or full back.
Doherty sucked.
Yeah, Doherty, pretty bad. We'll get to that. But yeah, Doherty was quite terrible. And Aurier was actually not. He was not very good.
But he's not. Aurier, I feel like Doherty this season has been consistently blah to watch. It's average or below average. I can't say he's had a game that I'm this was a signing that was worth making.
Okay, so essentially, halftime, gets scored on right before half. Kane can't come back. There's some sort of fight in the locker room that we don't know what happened. Aurier storms off, come back into halftime. He changes formation and goes back to a 4-2-1-3 or
And clearly that worked.
Right, and instead of putting in like Sissoko, who essentially had played that role when they played at Anfield.
He put in wings.
Put in wings, and
they scored. Liverpool scored within the first
right. So
30
and
seconds
who knows like what role if there was really a fight at halftime, like maybe like that was maybe not so easy for the players to come back right after halftime after a fight like that and have focused and all that stuff. But I mean, they gave up a goal right away, and then right after that, like
the only good shot I've ever seen Højbjerg take.
Okay, yeah, it was a great shot. It was a great
he
strike.
Give
him like some credit. It was a like awesome strike.
Yeah.
Guy needs some credit. He's like worked so hard. He was
definitely our best player in that game.
Yeah, and but other than that, like we really had like no chances.
Yeah.
And we didn't create anything. It was a pretty pathetic second half.
Yeah. I just feel like when we were playing against Wickham, you saw that creativity in our midfield, and there was just none of that yesterday.
Right, but that's Wickham. Right, that's why Wickham is at the bottom of the championship.
I know, but we should be able. I feel like we need to transfer that to these games.
Well, yeah, you'd like to. I mean, again, the players that we would like to be able in these situations to be creative and
are all injured.
Well, no, I'm not. You can't say like injured. So like, I mean, even that like Bergwijn gives the ball away all game long. Lamela came in like literally. I think the commentator said something 30 minutes in, like, oh, I feel like this is the first time we're saying Lamela's name. Like he did nothing. Maybe like again, I know like you're pretty down on Bale, but maybe bringing in Bale at halftime instead of Lamela. Like giving him more of a chance to do some creativity and have something. You're only down one goal. Lamela was really. Or the other thing is like, where's Vinicius? Like Kane goes off.
Yeah, why would you bring in Lamela? That's not his position.
Well, he didn't have him playing in that position. They switched it up. It wasn't.
But
like,
it doesn't. We need a center forward on the field.
I know, so I think he decided to play Sonny
but
more up top.
That doesn't work.
Well, it didn't work, right? So I think they
no one is playing. I mean, Son, he's very good. I would say almost all of his goals are like one-on-one with the goalkeeper.
Yeah. And
there was no one to play him those balls.
Right, so that's what I think maybe he thought that Lamela would be somebody who could play them the balls, but it wasn't. It didn't work. All right, so let's move on. It was a bad game, and really, obviously the big, who knows what this means without Kane, and if Aurier is like stormed out, like who knows what'll happen with the morale of the team, and maybe Aurier will never play again.
You always say that. It's so annoying.
Well, I just feel like with Mourinho, it's like at some point this is going to go south, and is this the time?
Well, all of these managers that are, Solskjaer had a rough patch. Arteta had a rough patch. Now getting out of it.
Right.
Only one, Lampard.
Yeah, it's just it's like you don't want the locker room to turn against him. So, all right. So player ratings. I'll just talk quickly about my player ratings. They're up here on the screen. The big things I'm going to talk about really are the wingbacks, who I gave both of them, Aurier and Doherty 3s. I thought that they were terrible, and I gave the manager a 3 because I thought that his setup was bad. I thought that the adjustments he made at halftime, again, I don't know, I wasn't in the locker room, I don't know, but I thought that those were really bad. Those were and I gave, I'd say the best player, I gave a 7 to Højbjerg. The goal was awesome, and he played a hard, typical Højbjerg game.
So I gave the first person that I'm going to go for is Lloris because that second goal that he let through was really awful. I gave Lloris a 4. He can't be making those kind of saves. He literally put the ball right into the path of Alexander-Arnold, and at this level, you're in the Premier League, you're starting goalkeeper for like a good team, you can't be making those kind of saves. Aurier I gave a 4. I thought he always plays with a lot of energy. Doherty I gave a 2. I don't know what he did.
He was also playing on the left side. It was like weird. It's like he played on the left.
Because
he's not
we
left
have
footer.
because we have two right. The only wing backs that aren't injured right now they both play on the right side. Anyways, I gave Son and Kane both 5s. They did fine until Kane got taken out. And Mourinho, I gave a 4 because at some point I understand that his decisions were bad, but the team has to play well. It's not all up to him, you know?
All right, so that's where we're going to end the devastating talk about Liverpool game. We're going to move on and hopefully see some brighter times against Brighton. All right, so we play against Brighton. The game is this Sunday at 2:15
Eastern time.
Okay, in terms of the standings, obviously we're not going to know what the standings are going to be going into that game because most of the teams will have played already. But right now,
we sit in 6th place.
Right, we sit in 6th place, heading into the weekend. Again, this is a huge win. This is kind of a must-win.
Yeah.
You know, I think I don't love saying that at any point, but you can't come off that game and not beat Brighton.
Yeah.
So let's quickly. We're going to Brighton. Predicted lineups.
I think. Well, here's my lineup. Some of the changes that I have, I think that Alderweireld is going to play instead of Rodon just to get a little more experience in there, in that back four, someone who can really take charge of it. I have Sissoko starting because I think he's going to go back to a 4-2-1-3 because clearly the back five didn't really work in this previous game.
It didn't work. It didn't work against Liverpool. It doesn't mean it can't work against
But
Brighton.
I think that we're going to start a 4-2-1-3, and I have Vinicius at the top. I have Moura on the right.
Okay. I also think we're going to go back to a 4-2-1-3 or 4-2-1-2-1, however you want to call it. I'm going to have Doherty on the right. I'm going to keep Rodon in. I think Mourinho was pretty clear. Maybe he was bluffing, but he said that Rodon was going to play, so I have no reason to believe he's not. Alderweireld, the other center back, and Davies. Then we'll have Sissoko and Højbjerg and Dembele, and I'm going to go with Son, Bale, and Vinicius. Give the guy a run. Give Bale a run. Let's see how it goes. We'll see. I think again, it's a big game. They need to come out strong. They need to be confident. I think that obviously confidence is probably at a little bit of a lull. Do you think they have it in them?
No.
Okay, that's really very positive from Anya. Very positive from Anya. I love to see that.
I hope they have it in them. I really do.
You feel like someone. Okay, so let's do some quick fun facts, and then we'll do our final prediction for the game. Okay. So fun facts.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
okay.
you start.
Brighton, nicknamed the Seagulls, which is appropriate for its location on the south coast of the country.
Right. So, Brighton, because they're so far in the south, they also don't really have any natural rivals or derby games. I think that Southampton and Portsmouth are pretty close to each other, but they're 60 miles away.
Pretty depressing.
So yeah, really not. So it's pretty isolated, but it's a beautiful place. I would love to go just hang out in Brighton.
Oh, let's go to Brighton.
So Spurs versus Brighton record all time.
So we have 29 wins, 10 ties, and 10 losses against Brighton in our all-time history.
Right, and I don't know if you remember, Anya, just to kind of give some other great, feelings about this game. Do you remember our game against Brighton at Brighton last year?
Oh, I remember. We had actually recorded the game, as all good games go. I had just gotten back from a soccer game, which I also lost. And within the first minute of the game, Brighton scored. Lloris was getting oxygen on the field. He was then out for a lot of months.
A couple months, yeah. He broke his arm.
And we lost 3-0.
Yeah, it was really ugly. It was the real I think it was very, very close to the end of Pochettino's run, and that was just it was a disastrous game. So
hopefully we just had our disastrous
that's right.
game. It's 1 week earlier every year.
That's right, and we kind of come into this one and we can put these guys away. So score predictions.
I'm gonna say 1-0. 1-1.
Okay, I'm gonna go with a 2-0 Spurs win.
Wow.
2-0 Spurs win. Big Spurs victory coming up.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully we can pull out a big W on Sunday, and we'll see you guys next time. Love you, Spurs fans.
Bye, guys.